Alright guys, back again for another video. This time it's going to be one over my Peavey Vypyr amp that I've been really meaning to do a video of ever since I've had this thing. And I've had it for probably going on 3 years now. Still sounds amazing. I really haven't done much of anything other than keep it in the house and play it in my studio. So what we're going to do is in this video kind of go over what I use it for, my setup, and how to kind of work it. Like I say, I just manually twiddle around with some of the effects. I really like this one. I went to a Guitar Center and bought this guitar, or this amp, like I said, about 3 years ago or so. And I tried out Line 6. I tried out a bunch of different ones that were multi-effects because that's what I was wanting to have. And this one really stood out amongst the rest of them. It was lightweight. It had a lot of good features about it. And the sound sounded amazing, very nice, clear and crisp. And so I just ended up buying it. And I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but really had a had a good experience with it so far. Seems like this is the 15-watt one. It's the Peavey Vypyr. It's the original series that they came out with, and it's 15 watts. It's got 24 amp models, 11 rack effects, 12 programmable presets, 32-bit processor, and trans tube analog distortion. And that was one of the things I really enjoyed about this amp, is that the distortion really sounded like a tube amp to me. Really crisp, really clean, and really responsive as well. So let's just get on into some of the features for this amp, and why I recommend it. I highly recommend it. I really enjoy it. It's a good practice amp. I'm going to reach over and grab the printout of the manual real quick, and we'll go over it. That way I can kind of show you some of this stuff as we go along. It comes at, I think it comes with a little quick start guide, and comes with a CD that you can download the manual, but you can also download it online too. So I'm not really, you don't have to worry about fooling with the CD at all. I've never really used a CD for anything hardly at all. Now they have in different various models here, and so I need to flip to the 15-watt guide because the 75-watt has a little bit more stuff on it. And so let me go ahead real quick and see if it's got a 15-watt section here. So let's see here. It seems like it's about the same for everything, except there's one or two extra features in the bigger models. So we're just going to look at some of this stuff, and I'm just set my thing on top of the amp there. And so here's what I've got going on. I've got just a regular twin setting up here. You probably can't see that too well, and I don't want to zoom in because it'll get my camera all messed up. But we have several features here. Okay, if we're going from this side all the way around, the different amp models. Let's see. There's a couple, like I said, there's a couple different ways here to look at this. Okay, I'll just do the best I can with this. Amp models. We have the Twin, the Deluxe, the Plexi, the Brit, the B-Cat, the Classic, and as we sweep to the other side, we have the Triple X, the JSX, which is based on the Joe Satriani model distortion or amp. We have the 6505, the popular 6505 amp, the rectifier setting, the K-Stein setting, and the I guess it stands for diesel. I'm not sure exactly. And up here you can push for the clean setting or for the overdrive. So if I play this in the clean setting on the twin setting, and I push it in for overdrive, you'll see that the light turns red. See that? So each one of these has a different setting depending on where you put it. Okay, so For me, I just got this in a clean setting. And what I'm going to do right now is show you how to tune. Now the tuner is kind of awkward with this, but I'm going to do the best I can here. My guitar's kind of out of tune, so we're going to tune this. And what we do is we hold the tune, and we see that it changes, okay? Now, what you're looking for is, I'm going to pluck the low E, okay? And it's on the E, and this is our actual tuner. I need to get it, it's flat, so I need to get it towards the middle, and when it gets in the middle in tune, then it lights all the green lights. See that? When it holds the green lights, you are in tune. If it goes past 12 o'clock, then you're sharp. If it's before 12 o'clock, you're flat. Also, this light's green when you're in tune as well, okay? So now I'm in A, and it says I'm flat, so we'll tune that up. And then that A turns green once everything's in tune. There's the note D. It's a little flat. I'm going to tune that up until it's in tune. Just in case you can't see, these are the actual notes. There's some letter notes in the black area of this circle that show you which one you're picking. And that's very handy if you wanted to detune to like a drop C or whatever. You can see all the notes: A, A flat, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, all those. So now, my D, check my D again. Okay, close enough. So that is now in tune, so I can pick this now, and we're back into playing mode. And you can hear it a lot better. It kind of cuts the volume down whenever you put it in tuning mode. Okay, so basically here's our amps, and then we have our effects. Going around this way, all the way around, we have a bypass, which bypasses all the effects, an octaver, a phaser, rotary speaker, reverse delay, a pitch shifter, and then on the left side from the bottom up, tube screamer, flanger, which is what I'm currently set on, a slapback delay, an envelope filter, which is type of wah pedal, an automatic wah, auto wah, chorus, and then tremolo up here. And then as we go on, we have pre-gain, the low or bass, mid and treble, high range, and then post-gain. And basically when I see gain, I think volume, so I can turn that up if I need to. I can turn the pre-gain up, and then I can turn the post-gain up. Pre, I'm guessing, means before effects, and post is after effects as far as I know. And then from there, it says up here that you can push for edit mode. Now, this is where a lot of this stuff comes into play. If you want to edit your effects, or in this case, parameter 1, parameter 2, feedback of the delay and the level, the volume of the delay, or the level and the volume of the reverb, you push right here. It says push to edit. So now we're in edit mode, okay? And this parameter 1 is what depends on what effect I have. So this will be my flanger. Parameter 1 will be my flanger, I think, speed. And then parameter 2 is probably flanger, my effect speed, and then my effect level, as best as I can tell. Let me check that, double check that with the manual here, see if I can find it. apologize for not having this stuff together. It's just kind of an impromptu video. But okay, when in edit mode, let's see. The edit mode LED, I don't know if that's for this one or not. Is there an LED for edit mode here? Not exactly sure, but I noticed these turn red whenever I switch to edit mode. Edit mode will either be green if you're editing effects, or red if you're editing stomp boxes. Well, in this case, that's for a different. I think that's for a different thing, for probably the 75 watt one. But anyway, it's kind of confusing here, so I don't want to do a lot of dead space here on the video. So parameter 1. Okay, the stomp boxer effect. Parameter 2. Well, I guess my best guess is that parameter 1 is your speed, like for a flanger or a chorus or whatever. This is probably the level or the depth. Speed and depth is my guess on both of these. This is your feedback level of how much delay you want. This is how loud you want the delay to be in the in the actual mix, and then how much of a reverb you want. And you can see the LED. They're using LEDs in places of actual, tick marks for the different settings. So here's my flanger. And I particularly like that setting, so I'm just going to remember where that is. We got 9 o'clock and in between, 11 and 12. So if I take this as I'm playing a couple notes here and start twisting the parameter 1 in edit mode, that's the speed, okay, of the parameter. That's how much flange I want. And then this is probably the depth. Really hear it stand out there. So that's my depth, and I don't want a lot of that wow wow sound, So I'm gonna put that back in between those two. I like how it gets the LED gets lighter or darker depending on how much you tweak the knob. So if I stop this for delay, you can hear the delay. So I've got a very minimal amount of feedback. So if I twist this, that midway, and I twist it all the way to the end, it just like echoes forever. Hear that? So I don't want that much feedback. So I've got it all the way set to 1. The level is how much delay do I want. Now I noticed when I first started playing guitar that I wanted all these different effects, and it ended up getting a lot of muddiness. So, and I've noticed as I've listened to people like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, that their delay level is very minimal, very, very light, very low. And so I've got it very low here. Now if I turn this delay level up, see how loud that gets? It's, it depends on, it just turns it down or whatever on your volume. So I'm going to leave it right about 9 o'clock or so. And it's kind of very subtle. Alright, and then your reverb is how much reverb you want in the mix. So that's a very low amount of reverb. If I crank it all the way up, it's like concert hall reverb, okay? So put that about where it was. Okay, and if I want to put a little bit more feedback on there, probably in between both of those. There we go. And if I want to save this, all I have to do is pick which one of these I want to do to save it. And I just press it, and this will be 1. So I'm going to press 1 here. And notice what the LED does. It goes out, then it blinks on when it saves it. So anytime I change a preset, I can come back to that. Okay? Now over here, I'm going to turn the camera just a little bit. Over here, you can see there's some channel buttons. There's an A, a B, and a C. Okay? Now you can set which channel you want it to save to. You pick the channel, and then you press and hold on which number of that channel. Okay, So that's how you save those. And so I've got a bunch of different ones. It comes with a bunch of different ones that are preset to it. And so I just fiddle with those until I find something that I want to change or want to tweak, and I go along with that. Now over here to the right, we have a master volume, obviously the input switch, the power switch, and we have an auxiliary input and a headphones or record out, so that you can record it straight to a mixer or your computer line in or whatever, and you could actually play maybe some jam tracks from your iPod into this by going through the auxiliary input. But I'm just going to focus right now on the main knobs that I pay attention to, and that is all this stuff here in the middle. Okay, now we're still in edit mode, and if you're tweaking with this, you can leave it in edit mode, and it'll be perfectly fine. But notice, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but everything reset once I save this. So now we're out of edit mode. That's in edit mode when you see these red LEDs here for the parameters and for the pre-gain. And then we click it again and we're out of edit mode. Then you can switch your low, mid, high, and your pre-post gain. So let's see what this says about pre-gain and post-gain. It says pre-gain is you turn this knob to crank up the gain and dial in the amount of distortion you want out of the amplifier. Okay, now post-gain, it says this is the individual's preset volume. So we have how much distortion we want out of the the distortion box, whatever we do for distortion, and then the post gain is just this affects this presets on that I just saved, its individual volume. Now the master volume I showed you earlier, I don't know if you noticed, but it's about barely off of 0. I mean, this thing gets very, very loud. For 15 watts, it gets loud. I've never been able to play this thing past about a 4 or 5 before I had to turn it down. The knob says it goes all the way to 13, so that's huge. And I don't want to play that now because my wife's asleep in the bedroom, and she'll probably hear it all the way up there if I did that. But let's just go through some of these settings here, so you can hear all the different ones. Now, for right now, I'm just going to start pushing the buttons here on the presets, and you'll see how all these knobs change. We'll have different amp knob models, we'll have different effects, and the gain and everything may change. And I may have to crank my volume down a little bit if it starts getting too distortion-y. I don't want to be too loud. So this is just a standard Flanger sound with minimal delay, minimal reverb. So let's change our pickup setting to about the 4th position, where you get a little bit more twang. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and start to push another button here, 2. Let's see what's on 2 here. Well, once again we have a twin. Now we've changed to a chorus. And I can tell that's a very, very slow chorus. So if I push the edit mode, it tells me that everything's very low, very set, very low. And this doesn't change, okay, until if I tweak this stuff, it doesn't change my preset. So I can push another preset button, come back to this, and it will stay what it is now. Something I just noticed is there's an edit mode LED here. That's what I was looking for earlier. Tells you where it's in edit mode, okay? So I want more chorus than that, alright? I can't even hear it, so I need to have more depth. Okay, not more speed. I like it a very slow modulation, but we can have a little bit more of it happening here. You can kind of hear it. Maybe a little bit more fast, more depth. There you go. Now you can hear it. Once again, if I want to go into distorted mode, I can actually just press this button here, and it goes into distorted mode. Okay, so I need more pre-gain out of that. It's very low. Now notice when I change this, it changes the pre-gain, changes all this other stuff. So now I have more settings for the distorted mode. So now I want more gain. So let's put the pre-gain in there and see what I've got. Okay, so I notice my clean setting is louder than my distorted setting. I don't want that. I want it to be about the same or louder. So I'm going to take and twist my pre-gain or post-gain all the way up. That's the overall volume. Okay, so it's like enacting its own stop box whenever you press the distortion mode. Okay. So let's press another one, see what happens. These are my louder ones, these last two here. You can definitely hear that. Looks like I have the triple X engaged. Now, let me crank my volume all the way up here. Okay, so I just turn my knob down to get rid of that hum. Now if I push this in, I've got a clean sound for the triple X. That's the kind of the crunch channel, and then the super, distorted lead channel. You may not like that much gain, so we can turn the gain down from that channel down to there.